you seem like a really intelligent woman though. I watched some of your clips and the way you were like shitting on those chicks in that podcast you were on, I was like, damn, I ain't never seen nobody put it to him like that.
Social media really glorifies how you look, so therefore we already feel like we're 10s. But the problem is that deteriorates when the guy meets you and you're not smart and you don't have common sense, you don't have wits. That slowly dwindles down, like the looks go away because there's other girls that are going to be hotter and who's willing to do more for less. It's a corrupted culture when it comes to dating because everyone's just kind of devaluing themselves because you don't realize you're not offering much in the relationship. You're not willing to start when he's shit. You don't want to date the potential, but then you also don't want to submit to dating 3 girls at one time with a guy. So you're kind of fucked is what I'm saying.
You're spitting.
No, it sucks because this is probably on that podcast in specifics, like it's probably the 10th time I've had a conversation like that. So honestly, I'm kind of tired of talking about like that surface gaze conversation. Like there's a depth that I want to go into, but I just think that too many people are just surface nowadays and they haven't really tapped into that because people are really quick to react and they're not actually ready to listen, learn, or observe.
Right.
So I'm saying something honestly there that I could like file my nails and just look down and talk. And them folks were just like baffled. I'm like, then that tells me that you guys are living in this little utopia, this fantasy land. It's really sad, honestly, because I'm like, there's so much more that you haven't lived. And there's this idea that I think I just finally figured it out today, like how to say it, that everybody thinks that happiness is so hard to get. I'm like, no, happiness you can buy. Fulfillment is something that you have to earn and you have to work for. And a lot of people haven't even tapped into that. And, like nowadays, everybody's so deprived of like, human interaction, love, fulfillment, that they're stopping at happiness. And that's what's sad. That's really sad because I made a video last night about, an older man being on a yacht and everyone thinks that's happy. That's not fucking happiness. That's just him temporarily filling a void. Because you look deep into that man's soul, he knows deep down if his wife honestly would just put in the 20 that who's missing in that 80 relationship, he would have 100% of fulfillment. And instead he got to settle for this little bimbo on a yacht. And yeah, she blows him. Yeah, she's fun here and there, but she don't care if he take his last breath while he's sleeping. He knows that too. So that's not fulfillment. That's just happiness, I would have to say. Everyone stops there and they think, well, he's on a yacht. That's all that matters. Because you're 21, you're 22. As a man, you hear a man on a yacht with a young girl. That's what you want to hear. But as a 50, 60-year-old man, that's embarrassing. A lot of my clients that are older would tell me they'll go on these bigger trips with their other friends that are married. And everybody's around the same age bracket. We're talking about the same things. We're kind of on the same level, the same spheres. And then you have this younger girl that's there. It's like, can we take shots? Can we go do this? She just fucks up the whole arm. So it's like, but people who don't realize and they don't really put that stuff in perspective, they don't see that. But like I see and I deal with that with people in general. So like I can honestly say that shit throws off the entire vibe when you got someone who's not on the same frequency, just simply because they're not experienced with life. And people don't see that. So
never heard it put quite like that before.
That's what I mean. I can't go on these podcasts and talk about that because it's crickets in the room. Like there was one point where we were talking about something and it was crickets and I had to apologize. Like, I'm sorry that I go too deep. My bad. Let me just backtrack a little bit.
Wow.
And it sucks. It really sucks.
I didn't get to watch the whole thing. I tried to find it, but they don't really curate their episodes very well, so I couldn't. I was looking for the thumbnail with you in it, but it was just a whole bunch of random looking.
It's nothing to watch, honestly. I don't recommend it. Okay. I'm not proud of that episode, to be really honest. It was like 4 hours of agony. So for anyone that actually, my editor sat through it, and he was solid for that.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But the clips that I saw, like you was shitting on him though. I was like, who is this? Who is this woman?
Oh, you're so funny. I was actually I was not happy with that panel, to be honest, because they asked me to come on like a couple times, and I said no just because like I'm on the East Coast or on the West Coast. That's a bit of a hike to me personally. I really don't, and I don't like going on those type of panels just because. I was gonna ask you, like, what do you feel about panel podcasts like Fresh and Fit, and the one you were on, what it's called, whatever.com, like, yeah, and it's just these. It seems to me, I've never participated. I mean, I have like in studio podcasts sometimes with like a few women, but I don't like purposely seek out, for lack of a better term, like bimbos who are kind of like airheaded just to like dunk on them, and it seems like that's what they do.
on those
They do.
panels, you know?
They do. They purposely do, and I'm a living testament of it. And regardless of, I don't like their following in specifics. And I've learned from it because I was sort of in the red pill to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
I just sort of fell into it, and it was categorized that way. And when you're new in the space, you kind of want to belong somewhere, so you think it's normal, and then you start seeing things just don't add up. Like, I like to go into depth, and for them, they're entertainment. And you have to understand that. To me, they're like Jerry Springer. That's what
Right.
they do.
They
So
there
you
for
can't
that
really get
moment.
mad at what they do. And
They
I'm not mad at it. I just don't, it doesn't align with what I stand for into depth. I think the structure of it, as far as like speaking up for men's mental health, I'm all in for that.
mm-hmm.
But beyond that, I'm not here to start a women's hate club. I think that's childish as hell. Like, grown ass men barking more than women, then are you really a man? Like, I don't remember traditional men
Right.
back in my family barking like that.
Right. Right.
So, as somebody who has been on Fresh and Fit and has gone on this other one, I personally,
You've been
from
on
my
Fresh and
experience in
Fit too?
seeing,
You been on Fresh?
unfortunately,
Oh, okay.
yes,
I
I
gotta
did.
check them clips out too. I'm sure there's some doozies in there too.
Yeah, but I wasn't the same person I am now. Like, I've grown so much in this space. Like, I learned really fast just because, like, I don't like to make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really have room to constantly make mistakes because it is digital footprint. So,
Oh yeah.
I took like a 3-month break in this space just because it hit me so fast, and I moved to Miami for it. But
Okay.
long story super short, when I was on the Fresh and Fit to begin with, they wanted me to drink, before the show, and I don't drink, I don't smoke, like, I don't do any of that. So for me,
Right.
it wasn't like a respectful thing. It was more like they demonized me for not wanting to participate in that stuff.
Mm.
And it kind of irritated me because I was like, you guys complain about women being hoes, and the minute I come on here, and I'm not hating on nobody for being a hoe. If you want to be a hoe, that's your own sinful activity. I'm a pass on that.
Okay.
But I definitely got demonized for that. And then when we went to go take pictures on the balcony, which I also didn't think it was necessary, I thought it was stupid. Like, just take one of my profile pictures from my page. Like, I only have 10 photos of myself on Instagram. There's no reason why I should participate in this. I'm not comfortable with this.
Yeah.
They wanted me to like pose in a way where it was like, ass out, face like that. Like, I don't pose like that. So
Wow.
again, it was like so many things that I saw. I was like, see, you guys specifically do this shit for the clickbaits, for the simps. You glorified on these women sexually for the simps. So that it's all money for them. And they say like, oh, we're teaching men and da da da. Yeah, to a certain degree. I get it. For those who don't have fathers, who need to man up, those who need to not simp heavily, sure. But
Mm-hmm.
you also capitalize on the simps because you want these girls to come on looking like straight hoes
Right.
so that you can get the money and the super chats and all that shit.
Right.
And because I didn't want to participate entirely, I wasn't rude. It's okay for us to have our preference. Like, grown men want to have young girlfriends. That's your preference. I don't knock you for it. But
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want to drink and because I don't want to post a certain way, I was called China the entire night.
They called you China the whole night? That
Yeah.
sounds kind of
Yeah.
racist.
I'm not gonna drop no names because I don't think it's fair to like shit on people in the business. I think it's very unprofessional.
Okay.
But in specifics, like, they called me like basically China, yo China, go stand over there, yo China, and then they put me on the couch at one point, and I was just like, y'all basically beg women to come on this show, and
Mm.
you tell them it's going to be a safe haven, and then I get on there and I don't feel safe. I'm not happy. I don't like, and I'm not a picky person. Like, I'm generally like pretty easy to get along with. Like, I understand like things happen in business, but like when I get there and you're forcing me to do a certain thing, I don't like that. And then the other podcast that I went on recently,
Mm-hmm.
they were like, dress up like in party clothes or cosplay. And I'm like, why the fuck
Cosplay.
does it matter? Exactly. Some white people shit right there. And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, this is not a convention. I don't need to wear that. So,
Wow.
again, it made me realize like, if I wasn't confident in myself, I would feel like I have to go on these shows dressed a certain way. But I'm like, y'all, I came here to talk. I'm not here to sell myself. Like, I'm not selling my body. I don't post that on regular day basis. So I'm not going on a show dressed like I'm going on a first date. That was a requirement,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And most of my wardrobe is like dark colors and like neutral-ish colors. Like, red is the most I'll wear, but like they wanted to wear like neon colors. And I'm like, bro, that's some ghetto shit. I don't wear neon clothes. Like,
Wow.
this is weird. So, I mean, I said, I'm gonna show up and wear this. If they have a problem with it, then they can kick me off. I really don't care.
Yeah.
And I just, again, I see all the strategies that are implemented, and I see what they try to do, and the amount of times that I was cut off because a super chat came in.
Mm.
So you don't really care about the message, you care about the money.
Right.
And you
Right.
praise the idiots who send the money in, whether, however much it is, the more you praise them, even if it's a dumbass comment.
Mm-hmm.
And I stand on principle, I stand on honor, I like integrity. And when you're there talking about something on like an actual subject and you override that because of money, then you're not really here to actually serve a purpose. You're just here to collect and just be real about it. So at least we all know why we're here. So that's my experience with the panel shit. And it's not my thing.
Yeah, you don't strike me as one of those type of women who would be cool with them, saying like, can you wear something revealing when you show up, and
Yeah.
can you talk like this? Can we take some shots before we start? It seems like nothing what you just said is surprising to me, because I don't really tap too much into the red pill shit, because I mean you can't escape it from being on TikTok and on YouTube and stuff, and you look at the shorts.
Yeah.
Like you might see one motivational thing, and you scroll down and it's Fresh and Fit dunking on some Miami nightlife chick and telling her she didn't have a father or something like that, something for the clickbait, like you said. And it's
Right.
like, I think for most people, at least for me, the more stuff like that I see, the more clips of some guy in the street asking obviously drunk woman that just left the club some gotcha question like, what's your body count, or
Yeah.
what's the secret that you didn't tell your ex, and she like, oh, I fucked his friend,
Yeah.
and they're making it seem like the majority of women are like this, when they probably asked 100 people the same question that night, and they
Yes.
took the most salacious one and posted it, and it like gives the perception that society is like this, and it like, for a normal guy, it'll kind of turn you off on women in general. Like me, I even catch myself feeling like that, like, wow, like I'm glad I'm in a relationship, because it seems like the dating pool is real shallow out here right now,
Right. No, you're not wrong. I have a bunch of friends on TikTok that are the street interviewers, and I've asked them in specific. I'm like, I don't even think it's their fault, because it's their job. Like, if you're an entertainer, like a stripper, I'm not gonna knock you. That's your hustle. But be upfront about your hustle,
Yeah.
And I think that people that are watching it, like kids on TikTok, and like since COVID, everyone thinks that's what the reality is. And I've asked them, you keep saying this is what everybody is. I'm a relationship coach. I deal with normal people who aren't Instagram famous, people who are actually looking for answers and not entertainment.
Right.
And they're not on social media. They're not the one that's glorifying this lifestyle that you guys say that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends who do the interview stuff, they'll tell me like, bro, the inspirational stuff never goes viral. It's always the toxic stuff. So we're gonna push that, and that's just the reality of it. And they can admit that, and they know that.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't know that? The viewers. The viewers are like, oh, this is all women. I had a little boy on her the other day that was 21 years old on TikTok trying to tell me that all women are a certain way. And I'm like, bro, all women are not this way. It's the women that you're interacting. And I'm going to tell you that because the way you're talking to me, I'm turned off. So the girl like me would never talk to you. But I know who would talk to you. The hoes would talk to you, because they think this is a man right here. He's speaking up facts right now. I'm like, you're not spitting up facts. You're creating some stupid ideology that you've accumulated on your own.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't make any damn sense. It makes sense in your world because you're hurt, you're lost, and you're looking for validation through these stupid podcasts that are just entertainment. They have one fact, and then they have like 5 bullshit that comes with it, and you're taking all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's happening.
I mean, it is entertaining, but I'm like, if I was a young guy watching it, like you said, the little 20-year-old dude you were talking to, he's bought it hook, line, and sinker. But you have to be lived a little bit of life to like see behind the curtain